it up right now. Now, we all remember this. Men lie, women lie numbers. Don't, baby. 5/26/25. Caitlin Clark has suffered a left quad injury strain and will be out a minimum of 2 weeks. Now, this was the first time they was honest. You see, they was honest here. They said a minimum of 2 weeks. That was in May. That was the first time. The second time Caitlin Clark got hurt. Status report. Tonight's game against the Los Angeles Sparks. Remember this one? Kayla Clark was out. They didn't have any timeline. This is when they started the day-to-day thing. This is when they started saying it was day-to-day. That was the
Recent developments surrounding Caitlin Clark's recurring injury issues have raised significant concerns about her long-term health and the medical protocols being implemented by the Indiana Fever organization. Analysis of her injury pattern reveals a troubling trend that suggests deeper underlying problems with her physical conditioning and recovery management. Clark has sustained 3 separate injuries during the current season, marking an unprecedented frequency for a player of her caliber. The first documented injury occurred in May when she suffered a left quadriceps strain that sidelined her for a minimum of 2 weeks. Medical staff provided clear communication regarding this initial setback, establishing a definitive timeline for her return to competition.
When they start saying it was day-to-day, that was the second time Caitlin got hurt. Now, that leads us until today. Now, they are scheduled to play today, so expect more updates to come out today, this evening, before the game come on tonight, this same type of diagram. But I just wonder tonight, will they be honest and let us know, hey, she's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying 3 weeks tops. Maybe even a month. I think the first time she was out, Kayla's going to be out a good month, man, because it's a whole new quad injury, guys. It's a whole new side.
The second injury presented differently, with the organization adopting a more ambiguous approach to disclosure. Clark was ruled out against the Los Angeles Sparks without any specific timeline provided, marking the beginning of the team's day-to-day designation strategy. This shift in communication transparency has continued with subsequent injury reports. The most recent injury represents a concerning escalation in severity and location. Clark now faces a right-side groin injury that medical experts believe could require extended recovery time, potentially lasting 3 to 4 weeks or possibly extending to a full month.
It's going to be out a good month, man, because it's a whole new quad injury, guys. It's a whole new side, whole new thing. So expect the same thing to happen the first time, but we're going to get into they're going to inject her with stem cells and all that. We're going to go over all that. This is my theory, not saying that they is. But they stated status report for tonight's game. Caitlin Clark's out, questionable. And just like I stated, they was on some day-to-day stuff. Now, shout out to my boy Mike, man. Now, Mike is no doctor, but Mike made a hell of a lot of sense in these tweets. So let me see here if I can get down here. All right.
This new injury affects the opposite side of her body from the original quadriceps problem, suggesting compensatory movement patterns may be contributing to her ongoing issues. Basketball analysts have identified several potential contributing factors to Clark's injury struggles. One prominent theory focuses on her rapid muscle development during the off-season preparation period. Critics argue that adding significant muscle mass in a compressed time frame can negatively impact players whose games rely primarily on speed, agility, and fluid movement patterns rather than pure strength. The concern centers on Clark's natural playing style, which emphasizes quick movements, precise shooting mechanics, and explosive first-step acceleration.
I can get down here. All right. So Mike first said, hold on. So Mike stated this, right? He originally stated this in October. Don't need too much muscle, need her to move freely, and don't want that jump shot messing up. Now, people criticize Mike about this. People criticize Mike about this post. I remember when he made it the first time. He stated, you don't want to add too much muscle. Now, granted, Mike is not a doctor, but Mike is somebody I trust very, very well with his basketball knowledge.
Adding substantial muscle mass too quickly can potentially alter biomechanical patterns and create imbalances that increase injury risk, particularly for players who depend on fine motor skills and unrestricted range of motion. Movement specialists have suggested that Clark may be experiencing mechanical flaws that are creating stress on various soft tissue areas throughout her body. This theory proposes that improper movement compensations stemming from her initial injury have created a cascade effect, placing abnormal stress on previously previously uninjured areas. The biomechanical explanation suggests that when Clark's left side groin injury occurred, it fundamentally altered her movement patterns. Compensating for the injured area would naturally shift weight distribution and force production to the uninjured right side, potentially overloading those structures beyond their normal capacity.
Very well with his basketball knowledge. He's one of them ones. Now, he went on to say, and yes, I was always concerned with the bulking up. Now, I said this a couple months ago actually before the season even started, about Caitlin Clark actually putting on all this muscle at such a fast rate. See, a lot of players add muscle, but Caitlin Clark added a lot of muscle in a short period of time. Now, bulking up muscle on someone whose game is based on speed, skill, ability, and fine movement replace Caitlin Clark training staff.
This compensation pattern can create what medical professionals describe as kinetic chain disruption. When one area of the body is compromised, other regions must work harder to maintain normal function, often leading to secondary injuries in previously healthy tissues. Clark's current situation appears to follow this predictable pattern. The physical demands of professional basketball have also been identified as a significant contributing factor. The WNBA represents a substantial increase in physicality compared to collegiate competition, requiring players to adapt to more aggressive defensive pressure and contact throughout games and practices.
Ability and fine movement replace Caitlin Clark training staff would be a good start. Now, Mike is basically saying that the training staff need to be completely demolished. And I have to agree with him 100%. And then he said, and hire a movement specialist. Also, there's a mechanical flaw causing all of this soft tissue on all these different parts. Now, let's bring us back here to the doc. Let's bring us back here to the doc, right? So, if you guys was to stand up, right? If you guys was to
Clark's transition from Iowa to professional basketball exposed her to a dramatically different level of physical confrontation. The consistent battling, contact, and defensive pressure create cumulative stress on the body that many rookie players struggle to accommodate initially. Her body may still be adapting to these increased demands. Medical professionals have outlined several advanced treatment options that could accelerate Clark's recovery process. Recommendations include extended sessions in hyperbaric oxygen chambers, lasting 60 to 90 minutes daily, which research supports as effective for tissue healing and recovery acceleration.
If you guys was to stand up, right, turn your right leg out like this, right, and try to walk, what's going to happen? You're going to feel a little strain inside your groin area. That's what's happening to Caitlin Clark. See, when that left groin had got hurt, it threw her mobility off. So her walk is not the same walk. Her movement is not the same movement. She's hurt. She's kind of walking with a limp. And what happened was it weakened the right side.
More aggressive treatment protocols might involve stem cell injections targeting the affected adductor tendon attachments. These biological treatments use anti-inflammatory properties to promote faster healing and reduce re-injury risk. Without such interventions, medical experts warn that Clark remains at elevated risk for recurring problems throughout the remainder of the season. Advanced imaging studies, including MRI scans, have likely been conducted to rule out more serious complications such as sports hernias, which can mimic groin strain symptoms but require different treatment approaches. Accurate diagnosis becomes crucial for implementing appropriate recovery protocols.
And what happened was it weakened the right side. Caitlin Clark quite essentially came back too damn fast. She came back too fast and she injured the right side, the right groin, because her mobility was off, guys. So her walk wasn't the same walk. Now, I know we all know this, but that caused it. But what really caused its injury, this is a theory, this is not facts. What really caused the injury, I believe, is the physicality of the league.
Reports suggest Clark may be seeking independent medical consultations beyond the team's medical staff. This approach follows standard practice among elite athletes who recognize the importance of obtaining multiple expert opinions when dealing with career-threatening injury patterns. Professional athletes commonly maintain relationships with specialized medical providers independent of their team's medical staff. This practice ensures comprehensive care and provides additional perspectives on complex injury situations that could impact long-term career trajectory. The situation has highlighted potential deficiencies in the Indiana Fever's medical and conditioning programs.
They're the third most cap space of any bubble contenders. And it turned out, not only were the Fever, we all thought, okay, they're not signing anyone because they're in the running for MLS women. It turns out, they were never in the running. It turns out they were so focused on All-Star Weekend, they just didn't sign anybody. Like, the Fever were so focused on marketing All-Star Weekend, they forgot to sign a 12th player. They have a max free agent slot.
Critics argue that the organization lacks proper expertise in managing high-profile player rehabilitation and may need to invest in specialized movement analysis and injury prevention protocols. Recommendations include hiring dedicated movement specialists who can identify and correct biomechanical flaws before they result in injury. This preventive approach could address the root causes of Clark's problems rather than simply treating individual injuries.
Max free agent slot. They have a max free agent slot. You can pay anybody. Pay anybody. Like, you, for a month, for 2 months. I mean this. It is 2 months. It is 2 months. You could get any player you want for the 150k or whatever it is you have. Like, you literally could get any player you want outside of MLS in the world. And not only that. I made a video being like, look, Steph Talbot's there.
The organization faces pressure to demonstrate competence in managing their franchise players' health while maintaining transparency with fans and media regarding her condition and expected recovery timeline. How they handle this situation could impact both Clark's career trajectory and the team's competitive prospects moving forward. The Indiana Fever organization faces significant criticism regarding their strategic approach to roster construction and competitive priorities. Recent decisions have raised questions about the franchise's commitment to maximizing their championship potential during crucial periods. A primary concern involves the team's failure to utilize available roster spots effectively.
I made a video being like, look, Steph Talbot's there. She's a really good fit. She spreads the floor. She can play a bit of defense. She's versatile. She shoots the ball really well. She's a vet. It's not that she's unathletic or anything. She's not old and slow. She's a really good player. She started half the games for the Valkyries this year. She's a really solid piece, a steady pair of hands. She went to the Liberty too. The Mercury are there signing people in 7 days because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what.
Indiana currently operates with only 11 active players despite having substantial salary cap flexibility remaining. Among WNBA franchises, the Fever possesses the third highest amount of available cap space, trailing only teams engaged in rebuilding processes or operating with primarily rookie-scale contracts. The Washington Mystics and Golden State Valkyries maintain higher cap availability, but both organizations operate under different competitive circumstances. Washington appears focused on long-term development with younger personnel, while Golden State continues building their inaugural roster structure. Among teams with legitimate playoff aspirations, Indiana's financial flexibility stands out significantly.
What their entirety of their outlook of the season is going to be. They're out here for signing people on 7-day contracts because they're like, look, we're in the Emma sweepstakes. The Fever didn't even sign anyone on a 7-day contract. We just thought, you know what? The Fever have the most money to pay Emma. The Fever are going to end up paying Emma the most money. We have a chance. Apparently we don't. Not only apparently we don't, apparently we were never in the running. Then what were we doing?
This salary cap situation becomes more perplexing when considering the team's competitive window. With Caitlin Clark drawing unprecedented attention and revenue to the franchise, the organization theoretically should prioritize surrounding their cornerstone player with maximum talent and depth. Reports indicate that Indiana was never seriously pursuing Emma Missaman, despite widespread speculation about their interest in the veteran international star. This revelation suggests the organization's focus may have been divided during critical roster-building periods, particularly around All-Star Weekend activities.
Why were we so busy? Why did we care more about All-Star Weekend than filling the 12th spot? There's no one available. And if I see people getting excited from Chloe freaking Bibby, and you know what? I say that and I want to be negative on Chloe Bibby because I wasn't that excited about Ari McDonald and she was great she was actually fantastic as a hardship player. She's kind of sucked since Caitlin Clark's come back. But it's just getting ridiculous.
The franchise's emphasis on All-Star Weekend promotion and marketing initiatives appears to have overshadowed basketball operations priorities. While marketing success generates important revenue and fan engagement, the timing of these efforts coincided with crucial free agency periods where roster improvements could have been secured. Several quality veterans remained available during recent signing periods, including players with proven track records and specific skill sets that would complement Indiana's existing core. Stephanie Talbot, for example,
It is just getting absolutely ridiculous, this organization. Like, they're there celebrating All-Star Weekend. We had a successful All-Star Weekend. Thank you. Like, look, this is what we've done. I mean this when I say this. You're a basketball team. Now you know. Now you know, at best, we're the 5th best team in the WNBA. Now you know what? Now you know what? Shout out to Mika Catchings. Happy birthday to Mika Catchings, the GOAT of Indiana. Back to work.
Talbot's profile included valuable attributes such as floor spacing, defensive versatility, and veteran leadership experience. Her ability to contribute immediately while providing stability during competitive stretches represented exactly the type of addition Indiana could have pursued with their available resources. Instead, the organization has relied heavily on short-term solutions and players who may not provide sustainable competitive advantages. The current roster construction forces extended minutes for players who might be better suited for more limited roles on a deeper, more talented squad.
Back to work. You know, Sid Colson performed her stand-up. I understand all of this. I understand promoting All-Star Weekend. I understand doing all of this. But you only have 11 players, and you employ Bree Turner as one of your 11. Lads, you have 11 players. Indiana, you can literally sign a real, you can sign like a proper point guard that isn't Sid Colson on a short-term deal while Caitlin Clark isn't out. But like, you literally...
Sydney Colson's increased playing time exemplifies this challenge. While Colson provides veteran presence and specific situational value, her expanded role reflects roster depth limitations rather than optimal strategic deployment. At age 35, Nydia 36, she currently plays career-high minutes due to circumstantial necessity rather than planned rotation management. The team's competitive outlook without Clark appears particularly concerning.
Caitlin Clark isn't out. But like, you literally... You have 11 players. One of them is injured in Caitlin Clark. One of them is Sydney Colson, and another is Bree Turner. And I don't particularly like why I put Sydney Colson and Bree Turner. Sid Colson can actually do something, but she's not great. She's not great. You have Sydney Colson playing her most minutes per game in her career. She's like, what, 35, 36? 35, 36? It's a...
During her absence periods, Indiana has struggled to maintain playoff-level performance, highlighting the organization's dependence on a single player rather than building comprehensive team strength. This dependency becomes more problematic when considering Clark's recent injury concerns and the physical demands of professional basketball. Organizations typically construct rosters capable of weather temporary absences from key players, but Indiana's current structure lacks such resilience. Front office decisions throughout the recent offseason have generated mixed results at best.